In this video, we're going to talk about the signs of heat stroke in dogs, what to look for, the early signs, and what you can do to keep the risk to a minimum. Stay tuned to the end to find out how you can bring your dog's temperature down and what to do if you need to treat heat stroke. What is heat stroke? So when a dog gets too hot and it can't bring its body temperature down by panting, it can develop into heat stroke. The normal body temperature for a dog is 38.3 degrees Celsius to 39.2 or 101 Fahrenheit to 102, which is significantly higher than humans. They typically range from 36.4 Celsius to 37.6, 97.6 Fahrenheit to 99.6. So it's quite a big difference. Now, something as small as a 2 degree Celsius increase in a dog's body temperature is all it takes for heat stroke to kick in. If a dog's temperature rises above 103 Fahrenheit or 39.4 Celsius, it's considered abnormal, and temperatures of 106 Fahrenheit or 41 degrees Celsius without any signs of previous illness are usually a result of excessive heat, which is often referred to as heat stroke. Now, at 109 Fahrenheit or 43 degrees centigrade, dogs' organs start to shut down and heat stroke can kill in as little as 15 minutes. So it's important to know what the signs are. 98% of those that are seen early with mild signs are likely to survive, which is why picking those early signs up is key. Before we get into what the signs are, what causes heat stroke? Because if we know that, we can try and prevent it. So heat stroke can be caused by a dog's environment being too hot or by the muscles generating too much heat from exercise, or a combination of the two. Common cause of heat stroke include over-exercising or exercising on hot days. Around 75% of cases are responsible because of over-exercising and on hot days as well. Not coping in hot weather, so approximately 13%. Hot vehicles is 5%, so as you saw in my previous video, don't ever lock your dogs in a hot car. And hot buildings as well. Almost 70% of dogs with exercise-induced heat stroke became unwell after going for a walk on a hot day. That's why it's so important to look after them. We cover the top tips for keeping your dogs and puppies cool in our other video, and there is a link in the description. So what are some of the more subtle signs of a potential issue before it reaches the stage of full-blown heat stroke? Just like us, when we're not feeling great, our body language and our behaviour changes, and our dogs are exactly the same. So watch your dog. They will give us signs that they're not happy. So early signs to look out for are things like a walk refusal. So if your dog doesn't normally stop and walks really well on the lead, and all of a sudden it keeps stopping, it's telling you it's not happy, especially if it's a warm day. Put it into context though. If it's normal, then it's normal. But if your dog keeps stopping, go home. They're telling you they're not happy. A spatulate tongue. Now this is where the tongue becomes elongated and wide at the bottom. Almost like a spoon, if you like. So it's long and thin and then wider at the bottom. And it might curl up or wrinkle. So this usually occurs when dogs are stressed. But it can also occur if the dog is overheating and panting heavy to cool themselves down. So look at it when it's occurring and what the dog's body language is telling you. A reluctance to play. So if your dog's normally ball, toy or walk mad, and all of a sudden they're lying down, they don't want to play, they want to stop doing what they're doing, that's them telling you they've had enough. You know, if we keep going at that point, we're going to make our dogs overheat and we're going to run them into an early grave. Listen to what the dog's telling you. Excessive and shallow panting. So dogs don't sweat like we do. They cool off by panting. If this panting's shallow and rapid, almost like hyperventilating, especially if it's paired with a spatulate tongue, then something's wrong. Find some shade, offer some water, monitor your dog, get them cool. Lying down in the shade. So dogs aren't stupid. They're very smart, and if they're choosing to lie in the shade, listen to them. Just like us on a warm day. It's nice to get a bit of sun, but it's also nice when you get out of it as well. and then disengaging from you, being stubborn. So by a dog disengaging from us, it's telling us they're not happy with what we've asked them to do. So if they're ignoring the usual cues and commands, turning the head away when you call them, generally just pretending you're invisible, get the message, they aren't happy. And one of the last ones is slowing down. If their pace is slowing down, then take a break, find some shade, call it a day. Remember what we said in the previous video, plan your walks. So we've mentioned the very early signs that are quite often overlooked before it even gets to the stage of heat stroke. But what are the obvious signs or the typical ones to look for in a dog that is suffering with heat stroke? So we're looking for things like heavy panting, laboured breathing, especially when the dog's not exercising. That's a sign they're too hot. If your dog's lethargic, so if it doesn't want to do anything, it's not its normal responsive self. Going back to breathing problems, in overweight dogs and short-faced dogs like our French bulldogs, they can be quite prone to heat stroke, so pay extra attention to them. Stiffness and unwillingness to move as well, they're other signs. Dribbling, drooling more than normal, because I know some breeds do drool anyway, but excess saliva or excess salivation, that's the word I was looking for, couldn't get it out then. Confusion, so if they're not the normal self, they seem confused. Things like being sick, diarrhea, not walking straight, so staggering because the muscles are weak. Glassy eyes with a panicked look in their expression, so eyes wide open, almost like they're panicking. Heart racing, gums and tongue that are either really red or purple or bluey colour. They're all worrying signs that you need to do something to save your dog's life. And the last one, not everybody can do this, I know, but high body temperature. These are all things that we need to be looking for and conscious of when there's a risk of heat stroke and we think that a dog might be suffering. If they start collapsing, if they're fitting, signs you need to get that dog to a vet ASAP. So how can you treat a dog with heat stroke? Well, we've got a video on that. It covers all the aspects. What to do, what not to do, what action you should take. Make sure you watch it and find out how you can save your dog's life.